government has been talking of the blue economy. How can we utilize our waters?
Talking about the rivers, we're talking about the lakes, we are talking about all the water that we have.
We've been having these oceans ever since Adam was a boy, if I may say that. We call it blue economy because when you look at it from up, it appears blue. How do we harness the ocean for sustainable development?
We have peculiar land issues in Kenya. The land is very, very expensive, particularly in Kenya, and I think it is the same in the whole of Africa and the world as a whole.
More than 30% of the power is produced by lignite coal, and we will need this coal for a long time, but not forever. We call it bridge technology, so maybe in 20 years we are totally based on renewable energy.
A lot of the projects that are carried out in marine, whether it's the structures, whether it is vessels moving or transportation, power generation, many of the things that we're discussing today, ultimately, at the time the infrastructure is being developed, there will be an engineer involved.
We have technologies that have come in that can actually enable the blue economy. Like now, the presentation from an engineer from KPA that talks about how to harness electricity from the ocean thermal technology that uses the waves to generate power. To me, I think is exciting.
First of all, I want to appreciate, I know they have been appreciated, they will be appreciated a lot more, our beautiful women engineers. Can they stand up one more time? Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we actually sat down, how can we be having the 5th African Engineering Week and the women? Not because we decided to seclude ourselves, but because we know that there are peculiar issues we need to do. We need to encourage ourselves, and we need to let our colleagues know, just like Emelda has said, that we are not mothers sitting with you, we are professionals sitting with you. And so you should see us as professionals.
We are in a cyclic era of water deficit. I know by now people have forgotten. In January this year, we had a very, very bad drought. By May, we were all swimming in floods, people are being swept away.
Goal number 9, innovation and infrastructure. Women in science and technology amount to about 45 to 55% of researchers, whereby only 1/5 the countries achieved this gender parity.
You only have the air blower providing air for aeration, and the same air is used to pump water from one chamber to the other.
If you're going to provide access, you need to tie it to value addition. In other words, can you provide some education for these women? Not just to use the energy to light, but to use the energy for productivity.
You cannot tell us there's a sect of human beings that cannot get children on account that they're engineers. When you're doing your employment, when you're doing your deployment to sites and everything else, please bear that in mind. And remember that this childbearing comes to an end at some point. It has to be done, and you have to recognize that, and you have to give us space to be engineers and to be mothers.
Of course, when we got together on Monday to talk about our issues, we confirmed to our allies, the male engineers, that we are here to stay and they need to include us in their conversations and in their plans.
Yes, we are the engineers. These are your engineers, and we are offering you service. We have a standing claim that engineers in this country seem to be being sidelined, and we don't know for whatever reason. Government parastatals that used to be domain of engineers seem to be slowly being taken away and given to non-engineers to run. And you can see the effects. Kenya Power, Kenya Pipeline. And the list is long.
The government will roll out a competency-based framework that is capacity building and training on maritime trade to enable Kenya to tap into the trade and investment potential of the blue economy. The government will therefore continue to put in place measures for the development of the engineering profession. Our ministry will welcome and implement policy recommendations emanating from this conference, and in particular geared towards the development of our blue economy under the Vision 2030. With those many remarks, I now declare the UNESCO 5th Africa Engineering Week officially open.
The last 3 days, we've been getting about between 200 and 300 school children, half of boys, half of girls, coming here to see what engineers are doing, to be talked to by engineers and be mentored.
We are putting a lot of emphasis on the students. For example, right now, I took up a position as the chairman of the councils of one of the technical universities, because really that's where everything is going to start from. If you don't produce good students, if you don't produce to fill the pipeline, you're wasting your time. Okay. But if you set up an institution which trains, the up and coming, make sure that by the time they are done, they become much more competent, much more competitive on the global level, then we are doing something.
We also know that these students that we've mentored are not going to be amongst the statistics of those women scientists who are found in the leaky pipeline. They're not going to fall out because they go there with an informed, mind. They have decided, and they're able to, survive the pressure that is out there. If they're told, you tell them they cannot do it, they'll tell you, I know myself, I can do it, and they'll prove it to you.
So in order to stem the migration of these young ones to foreign countries, who will now benefit from their intellectual capacity. So we need to do that.
We talk to the students, we encourage them, they should not fear the subjects, chemistry, physics, and other sciences. They should come in big numbers when it comes to engineering. So when they see a young engineer like me talking to them, they get that. I got some phone calls. They were asking, how can I be which subject, where should I focus more? So we advise them, we give them the roadmap to becoming an engineer.
Which means that you should be able to apply the technologies that are relevant in that new context. Which means that you have to engage in a lifelong learning context. Which means that you have to go down the route of continuous professional development.
In Africa, that is equal to the best in the world in terms of the professional services delivery, in order to improve standard of living and the quality of life for all people in Africa.
This production of electricity and also the cogeneration, the CHP plant, and usage to the gasification plant. The municipal solid waste will be taken in by the gasification plant.
More research needs to be done around the coastal region. Previous researches have shown that Lamu and Mombasa tides are viable for exploitation.
We can actually reduce the cost of projects and encourage people to invest in agriculture and reduce the fight for food versus energy.
The pressure that is required to across the semi-permeable membrane is between 19 bars and 25 bars.
I appreciate so much. It's an opportunity it's a great opportunity. It's a really great opportunity, and I will encourage also students to participate and write papers.
It's very clear to us engineers that without involvement of engineers, the President's Big Four agenda is going nowhere. It cannot be delivered in a timely manner.
The message to the government, we are on the right track. We develop the engineering profession and any other science, aquatic, that goes to this blue economy, and then we'll be home and dry.
The level of participation of us engineers can certainly be improved.
There's no way we can talk of engineering if we just talk to ourselves alone. We have to get in contact with the policy makers.
Why? Because development is about engineering. And you have to have people who understand it, being at the policy level, being at the decision level.
I see an enthusiasm in what we are trying to do in Africa, that is cooperation and collaboration in engineering infrastructure provision for the whole of Africa.
We want a system where all the professional developments, the legislation, and even it will go further to the engineering education in the region is run along the same line.
There is a lot of progress being recorded, you know, over the previous African engineering conferences we have been having. Today, there were at least 17 nationals and over 65 participants from other parts of the world.
Countries develop a forum like this, just take the notes of the forum and give it to the government, and government notes this, it will work on it.
It was very exciting to learn from you. So I give my input, but I got a lot of output from you, and that was very interesting.
I must say, if it is possible, to congratulate myself for making decision to accept the invitation, because I've gained a lot. The papers have been very robust and very illuminating and quite knowledge-based.
So my take home is a reflection. One of the major insights that we can have Africa produce most of our energy from our water bodies.
The conference was very successful. Previous chairman of the Institution of Engineers, many of them have told us that when they have done this type of conferences previously, the last 24 of them, they have hardly gotten more than 300 delegates. In our conference, we got more than 800.
Many African countries, but we have delegates from Europe, we have delegates from South America, and we have delegates from Middle East and from Asia.
The best opportunity to endeavor in engineering field with the best conference ever. Yeah.